Hi, I'm bradrosley. Thanks for tuning in again today. We're going to talk about 529 college savings plans, something I'm super excited to talk about. They have made my life much easier personally. All my clients I've put into them over the years have thanked me, and you will too. I'm lucky to have 3 children. I'm not sure lucky is the right word, but they're all in college right now. This is my family from a few years back. My wife, Sony, my son, Jake's at DePaul. My daughter, Isabella, is my youngest one. She's at Colorado State. My daughter, Olivia, on the bottom there, she is at University of Minnesota. I got 3 in college right now. Most people would be flipping out about that financially if they were trying to help their kids pay for it. And I'm not at all. The reason I'm not is when they were born, I started saving for them. I didn't have much money when they were born. I was just getting started, my wife and I. And we started saving automatically, which I always talk about in my book, Beyond Money, which I write about automatic investment programs and how important those are as a savings tool. You should do this with your 529 college savings program. What are the benefits of a 529 plan? Well, there's a couple big ones that I'll talk about, and then I'm going to go through a little bit of kind of a Q&A to help you understand why I like them so much. The money goes into a 529 plan after federal tax, but in many states, you need to check with your state, you'll get a state income tax deduction. In Illinois, for example, on the first $20,000 of contribution, you get to use that as a tax write-off on your state income taxes. Well, our state income tax in Illinois is roughly 5%. So if you were able to put away $20,000, that'd save you $20,000 times 5%, it's $1,000 in taxes. When I started these programs, Illinois' tax was 3%, and I didn't have anywhere near $20,000 a year to put into plans. I started off with $50 a month. And then I bumped it to 100. And then another kid came along, so I was doing 100 for one and 50 for the other, and I kept bumping it up until at one point, later on in their high school days, I was able to put up to $500 a month in their plan because I was making that much more money and catch up to get to where I got to, which was having literally 6 figures in their accounts. But the reason I had 6 figures, the main reason, was because I started right when they were born. I might have even started before that. I can't remember. Yes, you can do that. You don't even have to wait till you have a child to start the account. And I'll explain how you can do that in just a minute. So the money goes in, pre-tax savings for many states. Once it's in the account, and I'll talk about how you can invest that money at the end. So stick around to see the end on how you invest it. But it grows tax-free in the account. And when it comes out, you don't pay tax either if it's used for qualified expenses. It's awesome. So by the time I had $100,000 in one of their accounts, and I made 10% one year, so I made $10,000 return, my account, they went from 100 to 110, no taxes due. And that continued for all 3 kids. Some years I'd make $30,000 in growth and not pay any taxes. I love to talk about how to save on taxes. A lot of my videos, if you go back and look at them, are about how to save money in taxes. So let me go through as kind of a Q&A style on what you should know about these college 529 savings programs. One is, who can open them? Any adult can open them. Usually it's the parent. Could be a grandparent. And it also could be a child in the child's name when they're a minor, although I don't recommend that. And then you'd have an adult be the custodian of the money. Now, once that child in your state turns the age of majority, they now have control of that money. You can also set it up so that the parent has the account set up, but maybe a grandparent or an aunt or uncle want to donate to the account. They can do that. That happens all the time. Second question is, who can be the beneficiary? Well, anybody can be the beneficiary. You just need to have a social security number. Most of the time, it's the minor child, but it could be an adult. Maybe an adult's going to go back to college. Maybe they're going to go to a vocational school. Instead of paying the institution directly, put the money in the college savings program and take the write-off if your state offers that. So if you were going to pay $10,000 to go back to school, rather than paying ABC University $10,000 as a part-time student, put it into a 529 college savings program in your state, get the state tax write-off, save that money, and then have it go from that account to pay off the tuition bill. So again, also a grandparent could set one up and make either the parent or their grandchild more likely the beneficiary. How are contributions made? Well, I would say most of them are made one of three ways. One is by a check. You have an account application, you set up an account at the institution, you write them a check. A second way that's become more common is through an ACH. That's just a draft directly from your checking account into the investment account. Thirdly, you could have the money transferred if you have a 529 plan already set up from one plan into another. And lastly, more companies now are allowing you to set up a payroll deduction program directly through your employer to have the money taken out of your paycheck and sent directly into the account for you. I love that because it takes the issue away from you having to write a check in. What I did is I did ACH. So literally, I know still today on the 20th of every month, I've got money going into my 3 kids' 529 program. It happens, it's an automatic savings. That's the way I've always done it. I've never been able to put in more than what I did automatically because it seems like if the money goes in my checking account, I find something else to spend it on. The best way to save is automated. 3 kids at big schools, DePaul, Minnesota, Colorado State. They're not cheap. You can look them up. And I saved it all by starting young and investing well. I'll tell you about the investing part at the end. My next thing, what money, how can you spend the money that's in a 529 plan? Well, first of all, it's post-high school money. So you can go to a public school, public college, you can go to a private college. You can go to junior college. You can go to a vocational school, a trade school, professional institution. There's a whole list of institutions that accept federal student aid. If you look up at FAFSA, you can see all those institutions. But generally, if they accept FAFSA, they're going to be a qualified school for you to go to. So it doesn't matter if it's a junior college or it's a 4-year school or if it's grad school, you name it, there's money available. That means you can use this money towards that college expenses. When I go and do mine, I actually go on the website for the 529 and I click send payment to that university, and I put my son or daughter's name on there with their student ID number, and they send it directly there for me. That's for the tuition and the room and board while they were housed at the university. Which brings me to the next really important area. What can you use it for? You can't use it for a car. But you can use it for the tuition, other fees, you can use it for books, supplies, any kind of equipment that is required for enrollment or attendance. You can use it for full-time students or part-time students. You can also use it for computer-related issues. You can use it for the internet connection. All those type of things are things you can spend that money on. You want to document what you spend it on, in case you're ever asked. But any of those qualified expenses are great. What else? What if you don't spend all the money? Is the next question. What if you save all this money for your son or daughter and you were planning on giving them X amount of money because they were going to go to a 4-year school in your mind, or an out-of-state school, and they end up going in-state, or they go to a junior college, or they go to a trade school, and you have all this extra money left over? What happens then? Well, you have choices. One choice, you can leave the money in the account. It's still growing without tax. Still growing without tax. You can change the beneficiaries. So maybe you had it all in there for one child. You can change the beneficiary to the next child. Love that idea. You can also change it to other relatives. You can change it to yourself, your spouse, a niece, a nephew, a cousin. You can change the beneficiary. You could also let that money grow and use it almost as a retirement account. Because as it sits in there, if you take the money out, you have to pay a 10% penalty if it's not used for one of those qualified expenses at one of those qualified schools or institutions. And you'd have to pay the income tax on all of the earnings in that account. It's very important. You already paid federal tax on all the contributions. It's the earnings you never pay tax on, plus a 10% penalty. Now, if this sounds too good to be true, it only gets better. How can you invest the money? It doesn't have to sit in a savings account. Most college 529 plans offer a wonderful variety of mutual funds to invest the money in. Some as many as probably 25 different investment choices, where you can hand pick your portfolio. You could put all your money in the S&P 500 stock portfolio. You could put it in small companies. You could put it all in bonds. You could put it international. You can decide how much to put in each of their mutual fund selections. It works a lot like a lot of employers' 401ks. They also have many of these plans offer a what they call a targeted age portfolio, where based on your beneficiary's age and how aggressive you want to be, you can pick the portfolio. So for example, if you have a newborn, so they have 18 years till their college age, you can go in one of their three portfolios. One might be conservative, one is kind of middle of the road, and one's aggressive. And they'll invest that money in these pre-designed portfolios based entirely on those three choices and the age of the child. So no matter which of those three portfolios you choose, over time, those portfolios will get more conservative. So by the time that they're in high school and near college age, they'll be much, much more conservative portfolios because you won't want to take a chance of losing that money. So the growth rates in the last decade have been fantastic. Every plan should have in their information a record of what type of growth rates they've made. Okay, maybe the conservative portfolios have averaged 4%, but given this bull market that we've been in, especially the last several years, those returns have been double digits in a lot of these portfolios. It's a great way to grow money and not pay any tax. So you need to look up, depending on what state you're in, look up 529 College Savings Plan, and you'll be able to get all the information you need, including the application. Most important thing is to start now. And my second biggest thing I'd like to emphasize is to do the automatic savings program. And tell the grandparents about it if they're in a position to maybe donate to it as well, because you're going to need all the money you can in those plans if you want to help your kids pay for college. In the notes section, I'm going to put a real nice link to a calculator for you to use, where you could either pick the school as a benchmark or a dollar amount you're hoping to have saved for your child, and it'll tell you how much money you need to save each year, each month, for you to accomplish that goal. I find that super helpful. There's also information about college savings programs in my book, Beyond Money, which is right over here. It's an Amazon #1 bestseller. I hope you'll give my YouTube a like and a subscribe and tune into my other videos. Again, I'm Brad Rosley. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you get started soon with this college savings program. If this is for you, if it's not for you, it might be for someone you know. Please send this to them. And if you're a grandparent, please send it to your grandkids and your children, so they can know all about these college savings programs, as they are a fantastic way to save your child's future college education. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a great day.